So we're here with L'Renee. You've got a couple albums out. You just came off a tour with Kim, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
You say like this is the first year you've really had that kind of travel schedule. What's it like touring with somebody like Kim?
Well, first of all, Kim is an amazing artist. He is the type of artist where you get to learn a lot. I mean, the team itself, we're like really family oriented, so that was a plus. And touring period is really hectic. It's you don't hardly go to sleep.
Well, and that's something that people think that's, you know, there's something sexy about that. Like you get to see the world and you've got all this free time because you're the talent. So
right.
That's not necessarily true.
It's still sexy, but you don't have as much time as you think. A typical day will be, let's say for instance, you get up so that you could be at the airport at 4 a.m. because you're taking the first flight out. So by 6 you're flying somewhere. And then you may have a layover depending on how far you go. So you probably don't get there till around maybe 12, 1 o'clock. You check into your hotel, now it's about 2 p.m. and then you have sound check at 3. So you go to sound check at 3 and then you come back from sound check around 5 and then you get dressed and then you go to the show, which starts around 7.
It's not like you've got a chance to go to the art museum if you wanted to. Go catch maybe a little show after hours. I mean, you're pretty tired.
Yeah, but that's good because you know it keeps you busy. Mm-hmm. Busy for me means staying out of trouble, so that's good.
And you said you mentioned that it's a family atmosphere with that
Oh
too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that you learned a lot. What are some of the things that you picked up? Because I imagine. Look, it's Kim. You had to pick something up.
Well, I would like first to say about the showmanship. Before going on tour with Kim, hate to say it, but I had never really gone to very many concerts. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really get an opportunity to even experience what a full production is like, especially with spending so much time trying to get my own shows in Detroit. And then the shows that I did get were normally smaller in the smaller clubs here. So the showmanship, he's just a fun guy too, like how to interact with people. I have amazing relationships now with the people that do the production, the people that do the lighting. They're like, oh yeah, this button means this. I mean, half the time I don't know what they're talking about because there's so many buttons, but I mean, it's nice to be able to just be able to talk to people and find out, what does your job entail and what things makes your job easier, stuff like that.
So you've got some of that natural curiosity.
Yeah, I do. I'm always why? Well, why this? I'm the little kid that was like, honey, don't touch that. Well, why, Mom? Because you'll burn yourself. Well, why will I burn myself? So that was me.
Well, how does that inform your songwriting then? I'm sure that's got something to do with how you're creating that.
Yes, because I'm always inquisitive, so yeah, I'm always creating something. My mind is always on about 10 different things at once, literally. And
well, and it's not like you don't find a way to pack that space in your day with. Well, you've got an album coming out in March.
I do.
You've got a nonprofit that you're just starting up. You've just come off tour.
Yeah.
How are you getting all of these things done?
You know what I'm starting to learn about myself is I think I work better under pressure. That has got to be it, because if I have too much time on my hands, nothing gets done. But honestly, these, like the nonprofit, that was something I even incorporated in my business plan that I wrote many years ago for my career, and finally got an opportunity to do it. And the writing, when the inspiration comes, you just do it. Yeah, and I'm lucky I have the tools to do it even when I'm on the road, because I have, hate to say it for any PC people, but my Mac, it comes with a great program that allows, that anytime I'm feeling a particular song or somebody needs me to record something, I just plug it right in and I'm good to go. So you said something just a minute ago that was really interesting to me, that you had a business plan. Yeah, I had a plan.
Well, I run into a lot of people in business that don't necessarily have a business plan. How do you, as an artist, how did you come to even start writing a business plan?
You know what? I think it's because of my background in business. I went to school for business management. Spring Arbor University is where I attended, and I went for organizational development. And I mean, plus maybe my family structure, we are very detail-oriented people, and we really believe, and it's been instilled in me, that if you don't really have a plan, you plan on failing. So I had to sit down and ask myself some really tough questions about, okay, well, what is it that you want to do in the music industry? What do you think your niche is? Who do you plan on targeting? Where's the funds going to come from? All of those kind of questions, and put it together. Needless to say, the business plan has changed over the years as, you know,
Well,
supply and demand changes. But, and then you improve on certain things, like things that I didn't know before, incorporate that. So yeah.
Well, and I'm sure that it's just like any other plan. If you just solely focused on that one thing, you might miss a bunch of other opportunities coming your way. So
Right.
Was touring on a concert like that or with a production like that a part of your plan?
Oh, yes.
Really? Well, how'd you go about making that happen then?
Well, just kind of going towards that goal, and I got really lucky. I auditioned for a soul competition that Andre Harrell was hosting, I would say maybe 8 months ago. Bad with dates, but anyway. So one of the judges that was there was Kim's manager, and we kind of kept in touch. I ended up losing that competition, but she knew that Kim was looking for background singers and called me in for a closed audition, and I was one of the people that got it. Yes! That was the bomb. I was like, oh my God. And let me tell you, the day of the audition, the night before, my fever was like, I had a fever of like 98 degrees or something like that. But it was a fever, and I was so sick. And I was like, I'm not letting anything keep me from auditioning for this. And I guess it was mine because I got it.
So when you went in for that invite-only audition,
yeah,
you weren't feeling great. How did you gut through that?
I just pretended like I wasn't. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I was coughing and sneezing and all of that good stuff. But when I got in there, I just focused all of my energy on giving it the 110% that I had available at that day. And I was, like I said, I was really determined on getting that show because it was, I mean, Ken is the perfect artist. He's from Detroit. He's been my idol since forever, since even before I started producing my own projects. A friend of mine got his album from Fancy This, but it was a beauty supply store that they were selling his CDs in. And she started telling me the story behind him, you know, how he was doing everything. And that was one of the major points of inspiration for me when I started my label, before I even started producing. So anyway, long story short, yeah, I'm like, Kim, that's my dude. I need to be on that tour, yes. I dressed the part, so even if I wasn't feeling good, I tried to make sure I looked good, and it must have worked.
Oh, you're doing something
right. Doing something right.
Well, because people do make this out to be glamorous, though, and you're saying it's work.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah.
But, kind of seriously, some kids watching this and they're thinking, I want to be a singer. I know I can do that. I want to meet Kim. I want to meet L'Renee. What do they got to do?
Well, let's see. The first thing that I would recommend if someone's interested in being in this industry is be prepared to be diligent. And honestly, that's in any field. If you want to succeed in whatever you want to succeed in, you can't stop until you actually attain what you're striving for. So yeah, don't give up. And yeah, it is a lot of hard work, but the rewards are so fulfilling that it kind of balances itself out. I mean, I wouldn't rather be doing anything else. Like, I'm doing what I feel that God intended for me to do, which is using the talent of singing and of writing and affecting people in a positive way, whether it's letting them know like they're not alone. I mean, music is just to me it's just amazing. I could just go on and on and on about it, but that's because that's where my passion lies.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what I would say is, if there's anything in your life that you could just talk about forever and ever, don't give up on it. Don't ever give up on it. No matter what anybody else says, no matter how many times you get turned down, just keep going for it.
Keep pushing.
Keep
learning,
pushing.
Now, when you were on tour, and this would be my last question.
Yeah.
When you were on tour, in all of these different cities, you saw a bunch of different places. Why Detroit? You know, why pick this place to come back to try to establish your musical roots and push out to the rest of the world? Why here?
Well, I was born here and raised here, and I have had the opportunity to experience other places. I lived in Kentucky for a couple of years during my college years, and I came back, and there's just something about Detroit where there's a pulse here. There's musical history. There's just, like people say, something in the water that just, it gets under your skin, and it's home. So no matter how grimy, no matter how bad other places talk about us, I'm just proud to be a D girl. That's what I call. So I even considered moving a couple of different places, but this is home, and this is where I'm going to stay.